Aerophobics beware. Have you heard about the latest trend in extreme sports? It's called near-miss flying. Okay, maybe that's not a real thing, but it seems like some airlines are trying to make it one. I mean, how else can you explain the recent near misses in the air that have got people visibly shook? It really is hard to believe that in this day and age, with all the advanced technology readily available, two airlines can still manage to potentially collide on the same runway. Now, we've rounded up some of the closest calls for 2023. And remember, it's just been a few months into this year. The Delta American near collision. Looks like the skies are getting a little too crowded these days. The FAA is investigating a close call at JFK International Airport in New York that sounds like a scene straight out of an action movie. So here's what went down. Back in January 2023, a Delta Airlines plane was all set to take off for the Dominican Republic, minding its own business, when suddenly an American Airlines plane decides to crash the party. As the Delta plane was accelerating down the runway, the American Airlines plane came out of nowhere and crossed the runway right in front of it. Talk about too close for comfort. Well, thankfully, the air traffic controllers were on their game this time, and they noticed the rogue plane just in the nick of time. And just like a scene straight out of Top Gun, they shouted,
Delta 1943, cancel takeoff clearance. Delta 1943, cancel takeoff clearance.
I mean, if that's not badass, I don't know what is. The National Transportation Safety Board and Federal Aviation Administration are now investigating this runway incursion to get to the bottom of what exactly went down. It's still unclear who is to blame for this potential collision. But let's be real, everyone's just relieved to be alive after that close call. On a more serious note, one of the most bone-chilling tragedies comes to mind. The Tenerife disaster. The most frightening accident ever occurred on March 27, 1977, forever changing the aviation industry. A KLM Boeing 747 attempted to take off from Tenerife's Los Rodeos airport without receiving permission from air traffic control. And what ensued was absolute mayhem. It collided with a Pan Am Boeing 747 that was taxiing on the same runway, killing 583 people. Only 71 individuals managed to escape from the Pan Am wreckage, while no one on the KLM jumbo jet made it out alive. This tragedy was based on multiple variables that could have been prevented. This wasn't a near miss, and remains the deadliest accident in aviation history. The Honolulu crisis. Another day, another near collision in the skies. This time, it's a United Airlines 777 and a tiny cargo plane getting a little too close for comfort at the Honolulu airport in the Hawaiian Islands. The incident on January 23rd at the Honolulu airport between a United Airlines 777 jet and a smaller, single-engine freight plane is being looked into. At the time, the cargo plane was landing when a United flight inappropriately crossed a runway, according to the Federal Aviation Administration. The distance between the two airplanes was 1,170 feet at their closest point. We can just imagine the blame game going on behind the scenes. United Airlines will probably try to pin it on the cargo plane, saying they weren't communicating properly or had no business being on that runway. Meanwhile, Kamaka Air, the operators of the cargo plane, will likely try to shift blame back onto United, saying their pilot was reckless and didn't follow proper procedures. But let's be real, we all know who the real culprit is here. Mother Nature. Let's blame it on some strong crosswinds or maybe some rogue seagulls. We hope the NTSB gets to the bottom of this and figures out what went wrong. And if anyone needs a scapegoat, we hear the airport's resident palm tree is looking pretty suspicious. The Southwest and FedEx scare. Looks like we got a classic case of who's flying the plane here. In a recent incident at Austin's International Airport in Texas, a Southwest Airlines Boeing 737 jet and a FedEx Boeing 767 came so close to colliding that they could have high-fived each other. And guess what? It was the pilot, not the air traffic controllers, who saved the day. That's right, the pilot had to tell the Southwest crew to abort taking off because the air traffic controllers had cleared both planes to use the same runway. The National Transportation Safety Board is recommending that airports adopt a technology called ASDE, Airport Surface Detection Equipment, to prevent these types of collisions, but apparently only 35 airports are currently using it. So who's to blame? Maybe it's time to point the finger at the airports for not keeping up with the latest technology. Or maybe we just need to hire more pilots like the one on the FedEx flight who can save the day with a single command. The California Nightmare. In a wild game of aerial chicken at California's Hollywood Burbank Airport on February 22nd, a Mesa Airlines regional jet nearly collided with a SkyWest flight that was clear for takeoff. The Mesa aircraft was only about a mile from the runway when the SkyWest plane got the green light for liftoff, causing the Mesa pilots to execute a go-around. According to radar data, the two aircraft were uncomfortably close for at least several seconds. Audio recordings from air traffic control indicated that the controller had a tough time immediately separating the aircraft. Luckily, the Mesa pilots received and followed the guidance of their plane's collision avoidance system, known as TCAS, which can automatically identify nearby planes and instruct pilots on how to avoid a crash. It's a good thing these planes had the latest TCAS technology, or this might have been a story with a much different ending. As for the air traffic controller, well, they might want to consider taking up a less stressful career. The JetBlue Blues. As February came to a grinding halt, so almost did a few lives. A JetBlue pilot had a close call while landing at Boston's Logan International Airport when another plane decided to take off without permission. According to the FAA's preliminary investigation, the close call happened at around 7 p.m. when a Learjet 60 pilot took off without permission as a JetBlue flight was getting ready to land on an intersecting runway. The pilot had to quickly pull up and fly away, like they were at a drive-thru and the person in front of them suddenly began backing up. The FAA is investigating just how close these two planes came, but Flight Radar 24 said it was only 530 feet apart. This is just the latest near-miss involving commercial aircraft, prompting the FAA to assemble a team of experts to review airline safety. Let's hope that they don't accidentally schedule the review during rush hour. Initial reports suggest that the Learjet pilot took off without clearance, which could be a contributing factor. Ultimately, though, it's up to the FAA to give the final disciplinary action. So who is to blame? The aviation industry is in a bit of a tailspin with a string of close calls on U.S. airport runways. Experts are pointing fingers at both surging demands for air travel and pandemic-related workforce disruptions. The situation has gotten so bad that leaders in the aviation industry held an impromptu safety summit to address the issue. Airlines are struggling to keep up with demand after a devastating year that saw early retirements, mass layoffs, and financial distress across the industry, followed by a sudden uptick in demand. To make matters worse, there are also 1,200 fewer air traffic controllers in the U.S. than there were a decade ago. But don't worry, safety experts insist only a fraction of the 45,000 flights that take place every day are affected by recent near misses. More so, the FAA Acting Administrator Billy Nolen issued a safety call to action after a series of near-miss incidents. He also called for a deeper investigation of aviation safety data to check for any unreported incidents. Now let's hope the rest of 2023 is kinder to its passengers. I mean, nobody wants airplane food to be their last meal, am I right? Well, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel for more content like this.